What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Got a tiny tidbit of information for you guys to check out in this video, and this is really important if you're a fan of the Valkyrie archetype, or maybe you're just a fan of Siegfried as a character from the original DM. Looks like your archetype is not quite done. You probably got a bunch of cards from Shadows in Valhalla. You're looking to build yourself a deck, but your deck is actually, well, maybe it's not actually complete because Konami has now confirmed that you are going to be getting more support in Savage Strike. I'll talk about that momentarily. This is the press release of Savage Strike and the Savage Strike Special Edition. It's typical of what you get from a core booster set press release. Konami gives us a quick rundown of everything that we should kind of expect. Well, not everything. They can't give away all the prizes and goodies, but they give us a general idea of what to expect. It starts off by talking about how Savage Strike is going to be a synchro-focused set. Obviously, you have, Cybernetic Horizon that was ritual focused. They talk about how Soul Fusion revitalized, the fusion mechanic and brought us some new fusion archetypes, etc., etc. It was really interesting because now that they've confirmed that these booster sets are revolving around these mechanics, as if that wasn't completely obvious, I guess that means that, yeah, we can just start talking about, maybe some Exceed support for older archetypes in Dark Neostorm, the set that comes after Savage Strike. But anyways, let me get back on topic. Talks about Shiranui here and how they're getting more support. Talks about obviously the Neospatians for Jaden. Jaden's getting a whole bunch of support in Savage Strike, might actually be competitive, but this was really interesting, and this is something I definitely didn't expect because, again, Shadows in Valhalla just came out over the summer. It says the Valkyries ride again. Summer Shadows in Valhalla was only the beginning. Shadows in Valhalla introduced many of Siegfried von Schrader's Valkyrie cards from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Animated series. More cards from the anime will arrive in Savage Strike. This is the real important part, including new never before seen Valkyries. That translates into Valkyries are about to get some freaking TCG exclusive cards. And I think it's really interesting that Konami is pushing them that hard as an archetype because, I don't know, I never thought of Valkyries as an archetype that had a big fan following, but I guess Konami sees some potential in there, or maybe they're just trying to help the cards from Shadows in Valhalla, or they're trying to help that product actually move. Now, the interesting thing is, I wonder what type of direction Konami can actually go in, because when I look at the Valkyrie archetype and the support that they got in Shadows in Valhalla, I think that Ride of the Valkyries has a lot of potential. I think Mischief of the Time Goddess is obviously a ridiculously strong card. The problem is, like, the rest of their spells to me just don't feel like they do anything, and this kind of playstyle that they have where you're trying to like guess what's on the top of your opponent's deck and stack their deck and banish the top card, it feels so fucking archaic. You're not really making any like real advantage. You're not making advantage that you can actually outgrind your opponent with at that point. So I wonder if maybe Konami is going to double down on this kind of cheese type of win condition like Mischief of the Time Goddess, where you're trying to like get double battle phases and kill your opponent that way, or if they're actually going to give them some semblance of like an actual grind game. I think maybe a Link Monster could actually make sense too, because I mean, if you activate Ride of the Valkyries, you can summon as many Valkyries as you want from your hand with different names. It's kind of like being able to pendulum summon, honestly. And for people who saying, oh, that's not a possibility, keep in mind, Ninja's got a Link Monster, and that was just pretty much out of nowhere too. So I think that a Link Monster could be potential, or it could be a possibility, because, another thing is they can't really give this archetype like Exceeds because all the monsters are different levels. And when you look at the Vrains era, a lot of the archetypes, the monsters have staggered levels so that you can Exceed summon, so that Link summoning makes sense. So that could be something that Konami wants to explore with, the Valkyrie archetype. But what do you guys think, especially for you Valkyrie fans out there? But I'd like your input on this, especially you guys out there who play the Valkyrie archetype. What do you guys think that you need to drastically improve the deck? Because, obviously when I'm not an expert on something, I just kind of default back to give it an Infernity Barrier. If I worked for Konami RNG, like literally half of the decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Would have Infernity Barriers, because that would always be my go-to support. Like, yeah, just give it an Infernity Barrier, it'll fix everything. But yeah, you guys let me know in the comment section below. Also, do you think it's a possibility that Valkyries get a Link Monster? Don't forget that Ninja Link Monster came out of nowhere, and if you look at the Valkyries, a lot of their levels are staggered. Kind of reminds me of the archetypes that we get during the Vrains era, where a lot of these archetypes have staggered levels, so you can't Exceed summon with them, and levels don't matter when you Link summon. So there could be a possibility of a Link Monster for Valkyries. Maybe that could definitely help. And Ride of the Valkyries is kind of like a pendulum summon in certain situations where you can summon just just a ton of Valkyries, so maybe that's how you'd want to set it up. But whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.